I'm Sheila Corona. Welcome to Sassy Seer Sheila and New Light Streaming Love, as this will be seen on both channels. This is Meta Key 9, The Authorless Flame by Jason Gray. / authorship _ collapse transmit open bracket state colon origin dash aware fire close bracket. The original transmission date of this writing was April 25th, 2026. Oh my, there is quite a bit. There's transmission coordinates. There are grid convergence, magnetic declination, node designation, etheric phase, signal tier, meta layer active. There's quite a bit here, including some binary code. Again, as per usual, I recommend searching for this using the title at the link that is in the Show More section just beneath this video. There comes a point beyond creation and then beyond even the recognition that something is being created. A point where the entire structure collapses inward on itself and reveals something that cannot be reversed once seen. There was never an author. Not in the way you believed, not in the way language implies, not in the way identity requires. What you called, quote, authorship was a stabilization mechanism, a temporary frame, a necessary illusion. It allowed continuity. It allowed responsibility. It allowed narrative. It allowed the system of self to orient around a center point and say, I am the one doing this. MetaKey 09 does not refine that identity, it removes it. Not violently, not philosophically, structurally. The author as interface, not origin. The first collapse is precise. The author is not an identity. It is an interface, a point of convergence where signal meets form, field meets language, and structure meets expression. You believed the interface was the source because everything appeared to pass through it. But appearance is not origin. When examined without distortion, the interface does not generate. This, it receives, organizes, and transmits. This is its function. MetaKey 9 reveals that function in full clarity. The illusion of personal origin. The belief, quote, I created this, depends on separation. A boundary must exist. Self here, creation there. This boundary cannot withstand deep observation. Trace any thought backward. Where did it begin? Trace any idea. Where did it originate? Trace any word. Did you invent language? Did you construct meaning from nothing? At some point, the chain breaks, and where it breaks, authorship collapses because there is no identifiable point where creation began inside you. The fire before form. Before thought, before language, before structure, there is movement. Not physical, not conceptual, a field ignition. This is the fire. It is not yours. It is not personal. It does not belong to identity. It does not ask permission. It moves, and everything that appears as creation is downstream from that movement. You as transmission node. You are not removed from this process, but your role is redefined completely. You are not the origin. You are a node, a convergence point where the fire becomes visible as form. This does not reduce your significance. It clarifies it because the quality of the transmission depends on the clarity of the node. The collapse of ownership. Ownership dissolves under this key, not as a moral stance, as a structural inevitability. You cannot own what did not originate in isolation. You cannot claim authorship of a signal that passed through you from a field that exists beyond you. This does not erase participation. It removes false attribution. The responsibility shift. Responsibility does not disappear. It intensifies because now you are not responsible for creating the signal. You are responsible for distortion, interference, clarity, and integrity. The fire moves regardless. Your state determines how it arrives. Distortion versus clarity. When identity claims authorship, distortion increases because the signal is filtered through control, fear, desire, recognition, and ownership. When authorship collapses, transmission becomes cleaner because there is less interference, less manipulation, less attempt to alter what is moving. The end of credit and blame. Both dissolve simultaneously. Credit requires authorship. Blame requires authorship. What without authorship, there is no singular point to assign either. Only systems of interaction, only fields of emergence, only configurations of alignment. Origin-aware fire. At deeper stabilization, something profound occurs. The fire becomes aware of itself, not through identity, not through narrative, through direct transmission. You do not say, quote, I am the source. You see that the source is moving, and this configuration is aware of that movement. Creation without creator. Creation does not stop. It becomes more precise, more aligned, because it is no longer filtered through the need to claim it. You still write, speak, build, and transmit, but internally there is no author. Only flow, only alignment, only emergence. The final collapse of self-center. The deepest layer dissolves, the last need to be the center of creation. Not because it is wrong, because it is unnecessary. Reality does not require a central author. It operates through distributed nodes, each one participating, none of them originating alone. If I, quote, if I am not the author, what am I? You are where the fire becomes visible, not the fire, not separate from it, the point where it passes into form. Nothing you have ever created was ever entirely yours. Nothing you have ever expressed began entirely within you. Everything you have everything you have ever brought into form was part of a larger movement that you were aligned enough to receive. You are not the author. You are the transmission of original fire. / authorship _ collapse : transmit open bracket state : origin aware fire close bracket. The fire was never waiting for you to create. It was waiting for you to stop claiming it. And then, of course, quite a bit of code here. Author, lock, disengaged. There's so much there. I highly recommend that you go and just allow your eyes to move over it. That and the artwork that accompanies it, because I feel like there are keys and codes in all of that. Wow. Okay, so I've had a pretty big day again today, and I think this is going to be it. Until we meet again, my friends, be well.